Hey everyone, I'm in the Horticulture Center today here at Strawberry Bank Museum. It is garden season. A little bit about seed today. We've got quite a lot of examples here on the shelf, all grown right here organically at Strawberry Bank. So let's get into it. What are you thinking this time of year? What seeds to select? What types of gardens to design? Should you be growing under lights inside and then transplanting out into the landscape? Or saving a lot of time with direct sow? That's the seed that you just put directly into your garden, makes things a lot easier, saving a lot of time that way too. Beans, for instance, this is going to be a direct sow. You can germinate these inside, but I don't think it's really necessary. It saves quite a lot of time. This is actually cranberry bean, as you can see. You take a few of these out of the jar. They are absolutely beautiful, if you can see that. A little tricky. Yep, I just lost a few. But anyways, these beans, absolutely amazing. Cranberry bean is actually a Native American bean going back centuries and centuries. And they will cross with other beans. You can actually see these are variegated. So this is a cross that was cultivated locally here at Little Harbor School. So we do collaborate a lot with farm to school programs. Free food, really nice. But if you want to keep those varieties true to type, you're just gonna have to space out your beans a little bit so they don't cross-pollinate with other varieties. Now, one good example that we always grow here, because I absolutely love to eat it, certainly everyone else does, is ground cherry. Now, ground cherry seeds are very small, if you can see them there. This is going to be a direct sow. You can grow these inside just like tomatoes, but I actually prefer a direct sow. So more wild plants, I tend to lean more to those direct sows. Just think about wild plants dropping seed in the fall, they overwinter, and then they germinate in the spring. So really easy to direct sow these. I usually wait till early June for these to be safe. If you're in warmer climates, certainly consider this earlier season. Give this a try. A little bit like a tomato, much smaller, more mounding growth habit. And absolutely delicious. Does not taste like a tomato. Kind of the same texture, almost like a cherry tomato, but with more mango pineapple flavor. Absolutely delicious. Really cool. Another direct sow. This is another kind of wild species of aster called Calendula. This came in the colonial period. Very cool seed. Doesn't even look like seed. You can see how curved it is. So really nice. This actually comes up wild on its own, but you can easily collect its seed in the fall. Now, this is an edible flower, and it was also used as a pepper substitute. Really cool, often called poor man's pepper. Many plants were, if it was a substitute of that expensive peppercorn that was coming originally from Asia. All right, what else? Germinating. I would suggest coriander for inside. You can direct sow this. I have done it before, but I actually prefer germinating this, getting a little bit more structure onto it. The trick of coriander or cilantro, I would suggest growing this out. Once you do plant it, you want to plant them pretty close together. These are very kind of airy plants. Their structure isn't that great. So they're not very sturdy, especially in windy environmental conditions, a lot of stress. So give it a try. You can eat these seeds. If you can see, just beautiful seeds, nice and round. These seeds are getting a little bit old. We'll probably get into more details about seed storage and seed saving later in the season as we collect those seeds. But you can notice, I think you can see that 2014, very old. So we try to rejuvenate our seed every 2 years. We want viable seed that's gonna germinate. So be sure that you're rejuvenating your seed every couple of years. Otherwise, you're just gonna get really low viability and germination rates. One of my favorite direct sows that's really easy and really abundantly producing for seed, for foliage, is dill. Now, dill seed is another spice that you can use for culinary aspects. This is a great direct sow, and you can do it very early in the season. A lot of people will grow microgreens of this, if not those really big adult plants, or succession planting with this. So that means basically one row of planting early season, and then a few weeks later you plant another row. So you have a succession of really, really nice spice or really, really nice things to cook with, and certainly that seed at the end of the season in variable times. Edible flowers as well. Now, one thing you must germinate inside are cucurbits, especially here in New England, exceptions certainly in the South and warmer regions of the country. And it's because of our very short season here. Now, growing them inside elongates the season, so bringing them out as adult plants into your landscape, extremely beneficial. You want to see flowers almost immediately on your plants as you bring them outside, as they get a little bit of that solar gain, that solar energy beyond those lights maybe, or just that natural light in your home. So this is Bouquet Blonde Cucumber. Now, this is an excellent cucumber. As you can see, those seeds, medium size. Now, general thumb, rule of thumb, that is half the diameter of every seed. That's the planting depth. So medium seeds like this, they slightly go underneath the ground, but not as shallow as, let's say, a ground cherry or a tomato seed. Those are barely on the surface. So keep that in mind. The diameter, half that is your seed sowing depth. So really, really nice cucumber. Unlike a lot of our green common cucumbers in the grocery store, this one is harvested yellow. If you wait too long, it turns orange, which you can still kind of eat it, but you have to then roast it. It gets kind of tough. So as soon as these come out, they start coloring yellow. Very, very small, almost like a gherkin. Try this fresh when they first come out. Also try it like cooking zucchini. So a nice saute of this brings the sugars out very nicely. So awesome, awesome, awesome. Once I discovered that, it just blew my mind. All right, what's up next? Tomatoes. This is Hungarian heart tomato, very common heirloom. This is going back not too far to 2017. So Hungarian heart, medium-sized tomato, absolutely delicious. They tend to have that kind of heart shape. And these have been fermented. So when collecting tomato seeds, we often will put them into water, set them out, you know, scuff off the scum every couple days, but they naturally ferment and then they come out super clean. So even though this is a few years old, they are still looking really, really good. Now, germinating tomatoes, it's essential, just like cucurbits. That's why a lot of people will transplant tomatoes as opposed to direct sow. I would not suggest direct sow tomato. Direct sow into a tray, grow them out. You want 3 to 4 true leaves before you transplant. And we usually have a lot larger of a plant before we bring things out here in New England. And again, that June early sweet spot, sometimes late May. But we play it safe and plant these pretty late in the spring, so they are nice and successful. So tomato is excellent, but again, you want to grow these out inside, preferably under lights, and you will have quite a lot of success transplanting tomato versus direct sow into the landscape. We'll bring you more of these programs soon. This is Strawberry Bank.